Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. Hello.
Hi, Pickle. We're back at it again.
Back at it again.
Pickle, I'd like to take you back. I'd like to take you back to September 16th, 2019. September 16th, 2019. Actually, what I want to do is I want to take you back to September 13th, 2019. That was...
I was in college.
You were not.
No, I was not. I had just graduated. I was here.
That was September 13th, 2019, was Max Thompson's final episode of Texas Football Today.
That's right.
His final episode of Texas Football Today as producer. September 16th, 2019, the next Monday, was your first episode as producer of Texas Football Today.
Okay.
It had Monday Morning Fallout. We did our rankings reveal. We talked with Waco Connolly head coach Shane Anderson. We did what we call a campus crawl at that time. Ish was co-hosting. It was a different time.
Do you know how hard, technically speaking, that show was for a person that literally got thrown into doing it like the week before?
Pickle, the reason I bring that up, Max Thompson's final show, September 13th, 2019, was episode 815. Which means you started with episode 816.
Yeah.
Today is episode 1632. Which means that yesterday, Pickle, you became the longest tenured producer of this show.
That's wild.
You passed Max Thompson. You have now been the producer. That may not be technically true because we've had Mallory in to do shows and stuff, but like you have been the producer of this show longer than any other person who's ever lived.
That's something. I just devoted my life to a daily mediocre dumb internet
What
show.
a legacy.
Is that weird? So, I mean, it's weird for me to think that I've been here that long, or what feels like that long. Is that weird for you? Because I'm sure that it felt like the first 800 episodes of anything are going to feel longer than the second 18 or 800 because you're not in a groove. You don't know what you're doing. It's all new. Like, it doesn't, I'm sure in your brain it doesn't feel like I've been here longer than what it felt like Max has been
weird.
here.
It's weird because, like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about that because it does certainly, you're exactly right, that those first, like, the building of this show and what we were going to do and how it was going to look and, like, building the studio and moving offices, like, more happened then. Yeah. Because you're getting it off the ground.
Right.
Much like I imagine that year 2 of Texas Football Tonight is going to feel much different than year 1 of Texas Football Tonight, correct?
Let's hope so.
Heck, your show 2 is going to feel different than show 1. But, like, September 16th, 2019 is comfortably pre-pandemic.
Yeah. See, and that's where, for me, this has felt crazy because my first year of working here, I was there for the 2019 season, and then instantly, the moment that got done, we were locked down in COVID forever. Yeah. So it was like the first 2.5 years of this job between pandemic, between like us acquiring Texan Live and that being like a whirlwind for me in a sense, in a lot of different ways, but those 2 years seem to drag by like no other, and then the time since then has been like rapid fire insanity. It's really been rapid fire insanity since I was hired, to be honest.
Yeah, it really has.
Because we kind of went from this show to a lot more.
And it's interesting because like the last time Max was on the show was episode 1000.
Yeah.
Right? We had him on. He was in like one of the opening segments of episode 1000.
I think we tried to cold call him at one point after that, but he didn't answer.
That's typical. That's classic. I texted him the other day. But yeah, now it's you. This is your show now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, it belongs to you.
Not really. I mean, you've been here for 1,600 of them.
I guess that's true, but I'm hardly working here.
How does that make
mean?
you feel that you've been here for like probably 90% of those?
Oh, more than 90%.
90, yeah, probably 95.
I would say of the 1,632
because y'all
episodes,
didn't do any episodes without you when it was in the first 800.
We would just not do one.
Have a show. Yeah, that's changed.
There was like the only exception I want to say was the week that Hank was born.
Mm-hmm.
Because Max was also, and I hope he's watching. He's not. I guarantee you he's not. But Max was also a lot cooler. Would just be like, we're just not doing a show today.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? You know what I mean? I was the one who was like, no, we got to do it. Let's do a show. Come on, we got to find a way to do it. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, no, well, like if we don't do a show, who cares?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's part of it. And we also just didn't have people to do it.
I was going to say, I have been able to get to that point because I know that there are very, very, very few days where either Mallory or I are not here.
Right.
Like now, when I've been out for all this Texas Football Tonight stuff, I can, like, Mallory can just fill in. So it's like, oh, okay. If we have to miss one every now and then, I'm not concerned about it. But
anyway,
that's wild. Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
We're gonna get you a plaque. You're the longest tenured.
Can I have a chintzy ribbon instead?
Producer of Texas Football Today. Yeah. I wonder how Max feels about it. In fact, I know how Max feels about it.
He's gonna say, "Thank God it's not me anymore."
He's gonna feel nothing at all.
Yep.
Anyway, hit the theme expo. Pickle. Hit the air sign. Yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas. What's that?
We don't need finger guns that early into the show. We should restart that.
You tell her she's the longest tenured producer, and suddenly she starts having.
Now I can have an opinion.
Takes on the talent. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or also the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good, Miss TFT. The woman who has produced more episodes of this show than anyone ever. She's the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
I'm fine with the Miss 305 title. I don't know if I want the Miss TFT title.
Miss TFT.
I think that's one that I'll skip.
Today is Thursday, right?
Yep.
August 17th, 2023, 98 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Robert De Niro, who turns 80 today. It's episode 1632. On today's show, folks, we are going to go and take a look back at some high school football predictions I made for the 2023 or 2022 Texas high school football season, and see how I did. Spoiler alert, I didn't get all of them wrong. So we will see what I had to say about a year ago and see what I thought was going to happen and do a little bit of accountability. We're going to be each other's accountability buddies here. We're going to be accountable. And then back half of the show, we have had the outstanding opportunity to team up with our friends at Be Well Texas. Be Well Texas, I talked with their executive director, Dr. Jennifer Sharp. Dr. Jennifer Sharp Potter earlier today. Had a great conversation about what they're up to and our partnership with them. We'll hear from them coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Ed McElroy, Tanner Solis, Buffalo Chicken Tendies, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas, lady fellas, and all of our Tendy loving friends.
Yeah. All right, Pickle. We, about a year ago, planted a segment seed. We went out into the field. And these are high school football predictions, by the way. We went out into the field, and we dug a little hole. We dropped in a little segment seed, and we covered it back up with dirt, poured a little bit of water on it, a little bit of sunshine, and then suddenly, a year later, it's time to harvest that. Because last year, around this time, I need to go back and take a look at when this was. That is findable. That is a knowable fact. I made 5 bold predictions about Texas high school football in 2022. That came out on, let's see, I'm looking at the segment. That came out on August 16th, 2022, almost a year to the day.
Wow.
August 16th, 2022, I made 5 bold predictions for the 2022 Texas high school football season. The rules were they had to be bold, and your mileage may vary on that, but they had to be bold, and they had to be measurable, right? So it couldn't be like, football will be fun, or like a team from Austin will be good. It had to be measurable, okay? So those were the rules, and I came up with 5 bold predictions gazing into the future and trying to figure out exactly what this season was going to look like. And now it's time to be held accountable for what I've said. We hear that all the time. Tepper, you just go on and on and on, and nobody ever tells you that you're wrong. Well, here you go. Here's an opportunity to tell me that I'm wrong with my 5 bold predictions from 2022 for the Texas high school football season. Let's see how I did. We'll start with the first prediction. Let's start with prediction number 1.
And that is that there will be at least 4 repeat UIL state champions.
How about that? Starting off hot. I said that there will be at least 4 repeat Texas high school football state champions in UIL 2022. And you had South Oak Cliff go back to back. You had China Spring go back to back. You had Franklin go back to back. And you had Westbrook go back to back. That's 4. Ding, ding, ding. I nailed it. Hit it on the head. 4 repeat state champions in 2022. That's just taking it, a little crossover, a little step back. Hit the J. Just a soaking wet jumper. We're 1-0. Could not be any better. There's nothing stopping this prediction freight train. Let's check out prediction number 2.
4. We're sticking on the 4 train. UIL 11-man quarterbacks will throw for 4,000 plus yards.
Now, that's
a lot.
This is bold for a lot of reasons. Wow. On an absolute heater here.
2 for 2.
2 for 2. There were, believe it or not, many more. How many did I say? 4? 4 UIL 11-man quarterbacks would throw 4,000 plus yards? How about this? Armando Luan at Sunray, Blake Flowers at Seminole, J.J. Acosta at Taft, Clifton Cooper at Ponder. We're already at 4. All right, wow. I've already nailed it. Jake Wilson at Byron Nelson, Evan Bullock at Anna, right? Connor Cuff at Carthage, P.J. Hatter at Spring Westfield.
That's
7.
I didn't realize there were that many.
7 UIL 11-man quarterbacks threw for 4,000 yards. 7 of them. Now, I would need to look. That might be an all-time record.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's actually absurd.
Because 4,000 is a lofty, lofty number.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen very often. But anyway, nailed it. 4 11-man quarterbacks threw for more than 4,000 yards. 2-0, Pickle. 2-0.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Prediction number 3.
A first-year UIL program will make the regional semifinals.
How about that?
You've got to have someone in mind here.
I have a couple. Okay, nobody's perfect.
That could go wrong.
Nobody's perfect. First-year UIL program will make the regional semifinals. Didn't happen. Now, we got close. Okay? Frisco Emerson came close.
Yeah.
And then I would say the real surprise, Canyon West Plains.
Yep.
Both made it to the area round of the playoffs, but fell short of a regional semifinal, like I said they would. Lake Belton was also in the mix. They made the playoffs. I want to say if you watch that segment back, I thought Lake Belton was a contender. I might have said Frisco Emerson, and I think I said Killeen Chaparral as well. Those were the ones that I had my eye on. San Antonio Piper was in the mix as well. But alas, that is incorrect. Nobody's perfect. I missed that. A first-year UIL program did not make the regional semifinals. So I'm 2-1. 2-1. 2 more to go.
Trash.
Let's see how we do.
Texas teams will win the season series against non-Texas teams, which, if I am correct from the segment we did a couple months ago, that was not the case last year.
Ha-ha! Texas comes through for me. Thank you, Texas.
As it should.
Thank you, Texas. 59-38 Texas went against out-of-state schools last year. Did an impressive job.
I'm never upset when you're wrong on these, but I would have been upset about that one because that would have been the greater.
That would have hurt us in a personal way. That would have hurt us in a personal way. But no, Texas took care of business against outsiders. I want to say, who was the team? I know DeSoto took it on the chin against St. Francis Academy, that team from Maryland that came in. There's always one that comes in and hands Texas a big L, and everyone wants to go crazy about it.
Last year it was Duncanville with Bosco.
Yeah, St. John Bosco.
Or 2 years ago, and then this year it was
the team from
the Maryland school for DeSoto.
But alas, Texas took care of business as it usually does against. So that's a win for Texas. It's a win for me. It guarantees me a winning record on these 5 predictions. Let's close it out and finish it in style.
A team from the Rio Grande Valley will make the state semifinals. Stand up, Edinburgh Vela.
I think you got some options here. Okay. So no, didn't happen. Now, we did have a team in the regional final. That came within a touchdown of winning that game?
Yes.
In PSJA North.
That was a heck of a game.
In PSJA North, they were, let's see, what was the final score of that game? 20-14. Right? Not to mention that Edinburgh Vela was within a touchdown of Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial as well. But the whole point of this is to be measurable and accountable, and it was wrong. They did not make the state semifinals. PSJ North or Edinburgh Vela did not make the state semifinals. Although, by the way, let's not forget that Brownsville Veterans Memorial also made the regional semifinals. And before losing to PSJA North. So it was a good year for the Valley, but not that historic year that we predicted here on the show. And so I'm going to take an L on that one. But overall, 3-2.
Not bad.
Not bad. 60%.
Not great.
But
not bad.
I think the word you're looking for is great work, Greg.
That's words, not word. And 2, no.
I think the word you're looking for is I respect and admire you, Greg, for your prognostications.
What? Who?
3-2 on my bold Texas high school football predictions. Coming next week, 5 bold predictions for 2023 for college and 5 bold predictions for 2023 for Texas high school football season.
Well, how about that?
Stick around for that. Because then we're going to go back and plant another seed and come back to it a year later.
Because some of your seeds died.
But more of them lived than died. We're Texas Football Today. We're here weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider going to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Can I tell you something that we're going to do for our friends who are subscribers to the Texas Football Today podcast? We love you guys. Thank you for doing that. And I don't think you know about this.
Okay.
So, we, Matt Stepp and I, host a podcast called Tep and Step.
Yeah.
Okay? The Nerdcast, wherein we nerd out, dive real deep on Texas high school football. And you know, because you are a subscriber, that the past month or so we've been doing our preview series, the 5-part preview series. Go through every classification, every region of every classification. It is absurd.
Yes.
Pickle, coming today. Oh, well, I should say the Tep and Step podcast is for subscribers. For subscribers only. It's a premium bit of our content. Coming today, we're going to drop the Tep and Step season preview in the Texas Football Today feed for free.
Oh, wow.
That's right. We're going to give it away for free. all 6.5 hours of it
Wow.
spliced together
Goodness.
into one mega podcast.
Yeah, don't try downloading that on your phone.
It's going to be in your feed. It's going to be in your feed. There's timestamps in the description, so you can listen to the entire Tep and Step preview. What I ask in return, we're doing it for free, so you get a taste. If you like it, you got to subscribe. If you like it, you got to go to texasfootball.com/subscribe and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber and get all sorts of great stuff like Tep and Step and a year of Dave Campbell's Text and Live, our streaming platform, if you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. So look for that in the TFT feed later today. But there
That's
you
solid.
go. Yeah,
That's
so we're doing it for the people.
That's a hot commodity.
We're doing it for the people because we love you. It's a happy football season gift because the season starts a week from today. And now a word from these goods and services.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now.
The Gambling Gauchos are a Texas Tech podcast serving you money lines, memes, and matador content on Twitter, YouTube, and StakingThePlains.com.
Well, let's put it this way. They pay me off in tortillas, I'm going to shoot them right in the eye.
If you're looking for more Big 12 sports content from a host who wants a 25 tacos in 20 minutes and another that can provide a taco bites per minute analytical breakdown of the feed, then Rob and Kyle are the hosts for you. New episodes every Sunday and Thursday on the Republic of Football podcast feed.
Pickle, we had an opportunity earlier today to chat with one of our new partners, Dr. Jennifer Potter. She's with Be Well Texas, bewelltexas.org. They are a great organization that is doing important work across the Texas community, and we talked a little bit about that. Here's our conversation with Dr. Jennifer Potter, of Be Well Texas here on Texas Football Today. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is so proud to partner this year with Be Well Texas, which is an organization that does remarkable things within the Texas community. And we are pleased to be joined by the executive director of Be Well Texas, Dr. Jennifer Sharp Potter. Dr. Potter, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Can we just start from the big picture? Can you tell us what is Be Well Texas?
Sure. Be Well Texas is a program at UT Health San Antonio that expands access to evidence-based treatments for substance use disorder and other behavioral conditions.
And so why was Be Well Texas created? What was the kind of the birth story here?
Sure. So it sounds simple to say evidence-based practices, but it turns out that's not actually a lot of times what people receive. So when I say evidence-based practices, I'm talking about interventions that can be talk therapy, for depression or anxiety or for an alcohol use disorder, or it can be a medication because it turns out there are a lot of medications that are helpful to people who might benefit from them. But what we notice is there's a gap between what we know and what we do in the real world. And so Be Well Texas is about moving things from the science into communities in a way that makes it accessible to everybody at low or no cost. We're supported by grants from the state and federal governments that allow us to make sure that when you or a loved one are struggling, because it is very common to struggle with a behavioral health issue, you get the best possibility of the fastest outcome, the best reduction in symptoms, so symptom relief, and that you can get that in a high quality way.
And so I would imagine that, you mentioned the low cost part of it. Is that a big reason why programs like this are so important? Is that it's just more accessible to more people?
Sure. So access means that it's affordable, right? Access is not just knowing that it exists. I can't think of anything more painful than knowing that you or a loved one is struggling, knowing there's a program that could help you, and also knowing that you can't afford it. That's a hard pill to swallow, if you will. And so access is about making sure that you know where it is, and it's also that you can afford it. And what we deliver is the quality behind that. So you've got the quality that it will work, the availability, and you know where to find it, and also that it's something that's affordable. So all of the costs of what we do for folks who don't have insurance, and sometimes people have insurance, but it's what we call underinsurance. It may not cover everything that your healthcare provider thinks you need for recovery. We have funds from the federal government. These are your taxpayer dollars that are given to us in the form of grants that allow us to be able to find and provide care to people who would not otherwise have that access to it.
Let's talk a little bit about substance use in Texas communities. What do people need to know about it? And do you think there are maybe like some common misconceptions about substance use in Texas communities?
There are a lot of misconceptions, not just in Texas, everywhere, but it definitely impacts Texas just like it does the rest of the nation. I think the first thing to know is that we're hearing a lot about fentanyl right now. That's absolutely accurate to be concerned about it. Fentanyl is, and when we talk about fentanyl, I'm not talking about fentanyl prescribed by a doctor or that someone might get appropriately for pain relief. What I'm talking about is illicit fentanyl. This is not made by a pharmaceutical company. This is made illegally, sometimes in the US, but mainly outside of the United States in a couple different countries. But it's imported here and it's mixed with other drugs. So we have what we call a poisoned drug supply. So it's really important. I know many of your listeners have families or might be young people themselves. It's really important to know this is not a time to play around with drugs. So that's the first thing, because even if you try a drug, the drug supply, the illegal drug supply has changed quite a bit, and it is very, very dangerous right now to try and use drugs. And we know that kids experiment. Obviously, many families aren't thrilled about that. But it brings us to the second myth, which is that it is normal to try substances. We have had substances in our lives for a very long time. One of the most commonly used substances that causes trouble is actually alcohol. And so alcohol is legal. It's accessible. I drink, and that's okay. But sometimes for some people, it becomes a problem. And that's where we really want to be able to provide treatment and help people.
And so how is Be Well Texas working towards finding solutions for these things that are occurring in communities across the state?
Sure. So we do that through a couple different places. First of all, we're built on a backbone of research. So everything that we do is based on evidence. That means that we know, based on science and multiple studies and research, that the programs that we do work. We're also building the evidence of tomorrow because we have cutting edge clinical trials here of new treatments that have never been tested before or are being tested. And so that's another thing that we can give access to. We have a whole outreach team because what we want to do is destigmatize substance use. The number one reason why people often say they don't seek help is because they have some shame about the fact that they're having a problem, or the family member who's concerned about them is embarrassed about it. I often say, when someone is struggling with addiction, they're doing that alone. People, when they find out somebody in the family has cancer, the next day you have more casseroles than you can have to go in that freezer because people are there to support you. It can be very, very lonely and scary, both for the family member or for the individual, because they're afraid of judgment. Substance use is not a character disorder. Substance use disorder is a phenomena with a set of symptoms that can be treated, and treatment works. And that's the message that we're doing to get out around the country. We have treatment available virtually. A great story. We had a young person, probably about 19 or 20 recently, who was interested, realized that there might be a problem with alcohol in this person's life, but wasn't comfortable coming into the clinic. We were able to have their first appointment right at their home, in the privacy of wherever it was in their home they wanted to start the conversation. And that's what we think is sort of the secret sauce of what we do, is we meet people where they're at.
So, for folks who are maybe looking around and saying that they think that maybe themselves or a loved one is struggling with substance use, has a substance use disorder, how can people identify a loved one or themselves having a substance use disorder?
Sure. So it's a great question. One of the things that you can do is just do that self-inventory. If your gut thinks that you might have an issue, that might be a good time to get screened. And screening is really simple. So for example, if you notice that using the substance, whatever it is, let's say alcohol, is consuming more and more of your time, either using, acquiring, or recovering from the effects of alcohol, that's a warning sign, right? So generally speaking, if somebody's drinking more than 4 to 6 drinks a day, that's a concern. So that's another screening factor. If you find yourself being unable to stop using it, or it becomes kind of the only tool in the toolkit, right? The only way to relax after a long day, or if you've had stress, or there's conflict or tension, or you're bored, or you want to celebrate, the only reaction is to use the substance, that's another great sign that there might be something going on. And the other piece is listen to your loved ones, because often before the individual who's struggling knows, there are people in that family system or that social system that recognize there may be something going on. So that's a really key piece. We were talking before about myths. I think the other thing to remember is that substance use disorder and other behavioral health conditions like depression and anxiety can be life-threatening. And we need to take these things seriously. If you were concerned about someone's drinking or that they're using drugs, we need to know that it's a life-threatening disorder and it can be treated, but we do need to take it seriously.
And so how can an individual get help? How can they get involved in a conversation, or how can I get involved in a conversation or creating change myself?
Sure. Well, the first thing that I often say is we need to talk about these things. And so a lot of times what happens is people are concerned about someone in their lives, even if it's it may be a coworker, and we don't talk about it. So that's the first thing, is just like, for example, suicide. There's a lot of encouragement now to not just worry about it, but to do something, speak up, talk about it. We should be talking about these things. And so and we're so grateful for you for doing this conversation, just us even talking about this is starting to normalize that this is something that can happen in a person's life, that we can treat it. So let's talk about it. Let's bring it out of the darkness and start to have conversations. If you do want help, every community in Texas should have some types of resources. So larger cities have a lot of different options. We are one of them. But one of the reasons that we're here at Be Well Texas, and a shameless plug, that's bewelltexas.com, is you can go to our website and you can either interact there, or you can make a phone call and be right on the phone with someone 24 hours a day who can schedule a time to talk about it. And that helps communities that may not have the type of access that larger areas in Texas do. We want to make sure that if you're living in a town of 3,000 people, you have access to something just like somebody in a major metropolitan area like where we are in San Antonio. So the most important thing is to pick up the phone, or pick up your phone and either call or use it online to go and find out a little bit more about what substance use disorder is, what are anxiety and depression, and start to have a conversation.
She is Dr. Jennifer Sharp Potter. She's the executive director of Be Well Texas. Find out more about it at bewelltexas.org. Dr. Potter, we certainly appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we look forward to talking with you in the future.
Thank you so much. It was good to be here.
There she is, Dr. Jennifer Potter. Be Well Texas. We're really proud to partner with them and work with them for what we believe is a very important mission that they have. So we appreciate her time talking with me a little bit earlier. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Let's just do this. Shabam.
Wow! Look at that. Texas football tonight, 7:30 to 10. Next Friday. A week from tomorrow.
Next Friday.
Live.
Friday. You can stream it for free. Free for free on TexanLive.com. So live from the University of North Texas studios.
And I want to make sure I'm clear about this. We're streaming it for free on TexanLive.com. That is going to be free all year, right?
Yes.
Free all season. This is not like hey, come check us out for the first episode. Every episode live every week is going to be free.
Correct.
This is not some limited time offer.
Nope.
This is something we're giving you.
We hope that you will like what you see and subscribe
Yes.
to TexanLive.com. That is included in your TexasFootball.com subscription. It's all one big, giant package. But if you subscribe, you can just watch the show for free, or you can subscribe and get access to every single broadcast, over 1,500 that we do all year round. So even if you like football, but you like basketball more, or maybe you like volleyball or softball or baseball more, we have hundreds of those games on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. So we hope that you will go and stream this for free on TexanLive.com next Friday.
TexanLive.com. It's Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, a revolutionary Texas high school football game day experience. We're going to be dropping you into the biggest games across state. And when are we announcing the lineup of our spotlight games?
We're going to start doing that next week.
Next week?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to save it for...
I
want to save it for next week because the hype for football is so real, the buzz next week.
I will just tease it this way. It is a shocking lineup of spotlight games.
Yes.
So, TexasFootball.com, or TexanLive.com rather, is where you can find Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight coming next Friday. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at TCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Dr. Jennifer Potter of Be Well Texas, BeWellTexas.org, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday on Texas Football Today.